Hello guys, welcome to Daddy Share Space and welcome to my shop. So today I just want to give a small little update on this Festool UG stand that I use with my Festool CS50 table saw. So overall I like the stand. Obviously it operates as a dolly, so you could just put it up like this to work it in dolly format. And you could leave it down low like this if you wanted to work more on the floor, and you could put the table saw in different orientations, obviously cross cut this way, or you could put the table saw going in this direction so that this is kind of like a faux outfeed. So I think those are pretty cool features. And then obviously the legs fold out so that it stands up taller. My only gripe with this stand is simply the fact that, at least for my shop, I like to be able to move my tools around. I like to have things on wheels. I have the Festool Capex stand here. If I want to move this around, I can just tilt it up and roll it to wherever I need to roll it, or I can fold it and roll it. With this particular setup with the table saw and this stand here, it's very different from my DeWalt table saw, which is bolted and mounted to the stand, and it actually has brackets. You can take it off, but it locks in securely so that I can pick up the dolly, the DeWalt stand dolly, and just kind of wheel it around and then set it up and get to using it. With this Festool setup, it requires just that setup. So when this table saw is in the sustainer and packed away, obviously it can neatly set up on the table here or whatever, or on the dolly, and fasten in with this particular strap. But whenever I want to use the saw, I have to take it out of the sustainer, and then I would position the saw in whatever orientation which is beneficial for me. So what I found in the shop is, when I have the legs of this stand out, like right now this stand is not moving, it's not going anywhere, so it's not mobile in this orientation. It's also not mobile when the legs are out. And I was toying with the idea of building a big cart and setting this whole stand on it with the legs out, so that I could kind of move it about the shop and just lock the wheels whenever I have it in position. The problem that I found with that is there were no caster wheels small enough to keep this at the height if I was to put it on a stand or a cart, to make it to where it's very equal to my MFT or a lot of the other surfaces I have in the shop, which is around that 900 millimeter height. And so as a result, it kind of defeats the purpose. When this is sitting on the stand with the legs out, it's very close to that 900 millimeter height, so everything's fairly level going from, one surface to the other. So I was thinking about just going ahead and building a whole nother cart for this stand, for this saw, and then just using this as a dolly and using it on occasion. But I kept thinking about it, and I think I have another solution. Now, the other thing, when the legs are folded out on this particular setup here, there's this little component here which gives a little bit more stability. There's one on each side, so when it's out and flared out and open, I cannot transport this, like say, out of my side door here if I wanted to do some work outside. That's another thing that's a big thing for me, is I would like to be able to have the ability, if necessary, to be able to work outdoors if I need to. And so time is very important in the shop, and in order to have time, it's best that if a tool is ready to go. I made the stands for my Milwaukee miter saws, my Milwaukee table saw. The DeWalt actually had a stand that I could purchase, and same thing with my DeWalt table saw. The miter saw and the table saw both have stands, so they're mobile. I can get them out this door if I need to. I can move them wherever I need to move them in the shop with no problem. The MFT, of course, can't make it out the door, but it can be moved to whatever place that I need to move it to. So it helps with the transformation of the shop to whatever project that I'm trying to do. So Since with the legs out, it can't go through the door, and it will be too much, and it'll be too high for the rest of the work surfaces in the shop. Despite that, I decided against making an individual cart for this stand, and I think I'm going to still utilize this stand, and I'm going to do just like I did with my Festool MFT. I'm going to keep it folded up like this. I'm going to build a stand, a base, that brings this right up to the height of my Festool MFT, to where I can put the saw on either orientation. This whole thing is going to be rolling around on a cart with casters, and depending upon the amount of height that's left on the bottom, maybe there will be some storage space underneath for other items, maybe extra table saw blades or other accessories like this fence. They can go up under that setup. And what that does is it makes it to where I don't have to alter this at all. And if I still needed to use this in the dolly form or take it off for some reason, all I would do is lift it off like I do with my MFT, and then I can still use the original Festool setup. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I think I'm going to do. And yeah, so sometimes it just takes a little bit of thought, and then you come up with solutions to, you know, your problems. And so that one's going to work with this dolly fashioned like this, or with the dolly in this position. It can go through the door with no problem. So once I take the saw, and let's say I want to mount it like this, then I'm good to go as far as taking it out. So if this was all on wheels, I could just move this whole thing around the shop. And yeah, I think that's going to be a nice little option for me. And as long as I make this at the height with this whole setup of my MFT, probably a little bit higher, because I'll have this sliding mechanism that I can utilize. So I'll have to keep that amount of distance from whatever outfeed surface that I'm going to use, because we don't want to limit the functionality of the sliding table. But as long as this is maybe just a hair taller, then that'll give it an output to where when I move my work across the sliding table past the blade, then it'll still be able to catch the outfeed, and I think that'll work out well. Anyways, guys, I just had a really short video in regards to that. That's what I'm going to work on, is this stand. I still need to work on the scroll saw stand, because I never did finish that one. I'm probably just going to throw it together with scrap wood that I have here in the shop, just because I need, well, it's not a need. I would like to have all my tools mobile. They need to, the criteria other than my MFT is for it to be mobile in the shop, and also be able to roll out this door whenever I need to, because a lot of times, like if I'm going to clean up this area, it's a lot easier for me to clean up if I could just roll tools out and set them either on the side of the house or in the backyard while I get everything rearranged, and then roll everything back in here. It's pretty efficient and effective for me. Just another short little tip I just wanted to share with you guys. So let me move this out of the way. So one of the benefits to having a single income family is you can have your spouse at home, and they can be double checking everything, whether it be financial, you know, bills that come in, all of these types of things. And just to share with you guys just my own little story, so that you guys can double check in your own household. My wife came to me and told me that our insurance bill went up. Now, you guys know that we have 2 older vehicles, so we just do liability. We don't have to do full coverage when a car is so old. And one of our vehicles, the Saab, in fact, had gone from about $20 a month to insure, something like that, or somewhere around there, up to like $40 or $50 or whatever. So it was quite a significant jump per month. And so my wife talked to me about it, and so she decided to call. And when she talked to the insurance company, she was told that now they have a third party, of course unnamed third party, that basically estimates how much you drive your vehicle, and based upon that they raise your rates. So you want to be very aware and pay attention to your insurance bills, automotive, whatever, because you may get overcharged for something. Now, you guys know I've talked about it quite a few times on this channel. The Saab has been down for quite a while. It's probably been down for over 6 months, and we actually paid for plan do not operate because it's not drivable right now. And so my wife asked and inquired, like, where did you get this number about the estimate of driving? And we Googled it. The average driver drives about 14,000 miles or so, give or take, annually. And just to give you an idea of how much my wife and I drive, we bought that Saab, man, my oldest daughter is 13. I think we bought it either right before she was born or right after she was born. So we've had it about 13 years. But we pulled out an old bill from when we got some service on it all a long time ago, or when we first bought it. We bought this vehicle with 135,000 miles on it. It's got like 165,000 miles, right? So essentially we're averaging about 2,000 miles a year on the Saab. That's all that we drive as far as that with that vehicle. And I remember when we first bought it, we had relatives that live in Las Vegas area. We drove it all the way to Las Vegas and back. So once you subtract that, that brings that average down even lower. It's same thing with my truck. We bought my truck. I think it had like 160, maybe 180 something thousand miles on it when I bought it. And it now has over 269 or so. And so I'm averaging only about 10,000 miles annually on my vehicle. So it makes me ask myself this question: where did the insurance company get their data? Because they had no starting point for the mileage, number one, because they did request that we send a photo in of the mileage on the vehicle. So that's really crazy about how before you would sign up for insurance, you would pay it and you go on. And now all of a sudden they're mile tracking and basically saying, you know, well, we're going to charge you based upon how much you drive. So a person that drives 2,000 miles versus a person that drives like, say, 30,000 miles a year, you're going to get different rates. It wasn't like that before. I mean, it was not. And so now we see that we're moving towards an a la carte type of insurance situation, and which is dangerous in my opinion. And it makes me wonder, if you back away and look at that problem from the standpoint of, we have a major push towards electric vehicles, which have a limited range, right? We see the gas for ICE vehicles, internal combustion engine vehicles, going up, especially here in California. And so if on one hand you raise the cost of gas for a person that's driving a typical ICE vehicle, and then on the other hand you have the insurance company come on the back end and just start boosting your rates just because they're going off of estimates that are based in no fact, because at no point in time was the insurance company agent that we talked to, at no point in time did this person say who that third party was. They just said somebody. And then they also would not be cornered as far as what the averages are. Like what causes tiers? What would, if you drive 14,001 miles, does that put you in a higher tier? What if you drive way less than that? Do you get a discount? And so these things get me frustrated at times, because, you know, in life you grow up like as a child, as a young person, and you're told there's right and there's wrong, right? And a lot of these established companies, these businesses that are supposed to be professional, I think it's highly unprofessional when a company such as an insurance company, and I'm not going to badmouth the name, it doesn't matter, because I believe all of them are doing this, but like basically when an insurance company will just call you, not even call you, because remember, we didn't get a notification. The notification that we got was a higher bill. That was the notification. And had my wife not been on it, and she checks our stuff every single month and paid attention to that, I'm sure there's a lot of people that just be like, oh, insurance just went up. So when you call in and you confront them and they come up with this answer, a third party, unnamed third party, right? Let me just let me say this in this way to help you to see how ridiculous this sounds from a professional company. Let's say I call my insurance company up and I say, yeah, based upon a third party, unnamed, they say that I should be paying a quarter of what I'm paying on my insurance bill. As a matter of fact, I don't even call. I just simply send them in. Let's say my insurance is $100 a month. I just send them $25. What do you think that insurance company is going to do? They're going to drop me. They're going to drop me because I didn't pay my premium, right? But on the opposite end, remember, we're supposed to be a professional type, we're talking about professional companies here, and that's not professional behavior when a company just takes it upon themselves to just raise your bill without any kind of notification and then give you such a lame excuses to say, well, a third party. Who's this third party? You could have made them up. You could have made that up. That could be a complete fabrication, right? Because the irony is, when my wife called in and talked to them, you know what they did? Oh, we'll drop you back down to your regular rate. You surely should. Because the evidence that you gave for the reason why you raised the insurance makes no sense. You have no evidence to prove that we drive a lot. As a matter of fact, we have a lot of evidence that proves that we hardly drive at all. And yet, you just decided to raise the bill by 40 to 50% just on a whim. And we're supposed to be okay with incomplete answers such as a third party, and we go based on mileage. How much you use your, what did they say? We estimate how much you drive. What? That doesn't even make sense. Anyways, guys, I mean, watch your wallets. It's a difficult time right now. All of these companies are going to be trying to do stuff like that. It's like when you buy the potato chips and the bag is full of air and you're paying more for it. Just be very aware that this is a very challenging time economically. We need to look out for one another, and yeah, in a lot of things, learn to do it yourself. All right, guys, thanks for taking time to watch the video, and I'll see you in my next one. Take care.